The climate crisis demands action. Businesses know this, consumers know this. Yet, a new trend is emerging: greenhushing. Greenhushing is the deliberate decision by companies to stay quiet about their sustainability efforts. Instead of celebrating eco-friendly practices, they're keeping them under wraps. This silence is often driven by fear. Companies are afraid of being called out for greenwashing, exaggerating their environmental credentials. They're worried about scrutiny from both activists and competitors. But in a world desperate for climate solutions, greenhushing is a dangerous game. Silence benefits no one, it hinders progress and breeds distrust. To truly address the climate crisis, we need radical transparency. We need companies to be vocal and accountable for their environmental impact. Why the silence? Companies often cite fear of backlash as a key motivator for greenhushing. One concern is the greenwashing accusation. Consumers are increasingly savvy about corporate environmental claims. If a company's actions don't match its words, accusations of hypocrisy can be swift and damaging. Another fear is legal action. As regulations around environmental claims tighten, companies worry about making statements that could be deemed misleading or false. This fear is amplified by the growing number of lawsuits targeting companies for greenwashing. Furthermore, there's a reluctance to reveal competitive information. Companies may hesitate to disclose their sustainability strategies, fearing that competitors will copy them or gain a strategic advantage. This climate of secrecy, however, ultimately hinders collective progress. Greenhushing might seem like a safe strategy, but it carries significant risks for both companies and the planet. This practice involves companies deliberately downplaying or hiding their environmental efforts to avoid scrutiny or backlash. While it might seem like a way to avoid criticism, the long-term consequences can be severe. For businesses, a lack of transparency erodes trust with consumers. When companies are not open about their sustainability practices, customers start to question their integrity. In today's market, where consumers are more informed and concerned about the environmental impact of their purchases, transparency is key. In an era where customers prioritize ethical and sustainable choices, silence can be interpreted as indifference or worse, deception. Consumers are increasingly looking for brands that align with their values, and any hint of dishonesty can drive them away. This can lead to reputational damage and lost sales. Moreover, greenhushing stifles innovation. When companies are afraid to share their successes and failures, the opportunity for collective learning and improvement is lost. This not only affects the company, but also the industry as a whole. When companies are afraid to share their successes and failures, the opportunity for collective learning and improvement is lost. This stifles the overall progress towards more sustainable practices. Open communication can lead to shared solutions and advancements that benefit everyone. This slows down the development and adoption of crucial sustainability solutions. Innovation thrives on collaboration and transparency, and without it, progress is hindered. Companies miss out on the chance to lead by example and inspire others. From an environmental perspective, the consequences are even more dire. The planet suffers when companies hide their environmental impact. The lack of transparency means harmful practices continue unchecked, exacerbating environmental issues. Greenhushing allows companies to continue with business as usual, hiding unsustainable practices under a veil of silence. This not only misleads consumers but also delays the necessary changes needed to mitigate environmental damage. This lack of accountability perpetuates environmental degradation and delays the urgent action needed to address the climate crisis. The stakes are high, and the cost of inaction is too great to ignore. Companies must embrace transparency and take bold steps towards sustainability for the sake of the planet and future generations. Greenhushing is not a hypothetical concern. It's a reality playing out across various industries, affecting both large corporations and small businesses alike. One prominent example of greenhushing can be found in the fashion industry, a sector known for its significant environmental impact. While some fashion brands have made commendable strides in adopting sustainable materials and ethical production methods, many others engage in greenhushing. They quietly implement eco-friendly changes without publicizing them, fearing backlash or scrutiny. These brands fear being called out for their past unsustainable practices or for not doing enough in the eyes of increasingly eco-conscious consumers. The fear of criticism often outweighs the desire for transparency. The tech industry provides another compelling example of greenhushing. Tech giants, frequently criticized for their substantial environmental footprint, have been accused of greenhushing their efforts to reduce emissions or transition to renewable energy sources. Despite significant investments in green technology, they often choose to remain silent. The fear of appearing to exploit environmental concerns for marketing purposes keeps these companies quiet. They worry that their genuine efforts might be perceived as mere greenwashing, leading to further skepticism. These cases highlight the pervasive nature of greenhushing across different sectors. It's not limited to just one industry but is a widespread issue. From consumer goods to energy production, companies across various sectors are choosing silence over transparency. This choice jeopardizes not only their reputation but also the planet's well-being. By not openly sharing their sustainability efforts, they miss the opportunity to lead by example and inspire broader change. Section 5. Breaking the silence. Talking sustainability, right. So, how can companies break free from the cycle of greenhushing and communicate their sustainability efforts effectively? Honesty is paramount. Companies need to be upfront about their environmental impact, both positive and negative. This requires acknowledging challenges and areas where improvement is needed. Authenticity resonates with consumers who are wary of empty promises. Transparency is key. Companies should be open about their sustainability goals, strategies, and progress. This information should be readily available and easily accessible to the public. Transparency builds trust and demonstrates accountability. Section 6. Walking the walk. Actions speak louder. While clear communication is essential, actions speak louder than words. Companies need to back up their sustainability claims with concrete actions. This means setting ambitious but achievable sustainability targets and outlining clear roadmaps for achieving them. It also involves investing in genuine sustainable practices, such as reducing emissions, transitioning to renewable energy, and minimizing waste. Furthermore, companies should be open to collaboration and partnerships. Addressing complex environmental challenges requires collective action. By working together and sharing best practices, companies can accelerate progress and drive meaningful change. Section 7. Building trust. Transparency as a foundation. Transparency is not just about disclosing information, it's about building trust. When companies are open about their sustainability journey, they invite stakeholders, consumers, investors, employees to hold them accountable. This accountability is crucial for driving continuous improvement. When companies know they are being watched and their progress is being measured, they are more likely to take their sustainability commitments seriously. Moreover, transparency fosters a sense of shared responsibility. It acknowledges that addressing the climate crisis requires a collective effort. By being open about their challenges and successes, companies can inspire others to take action and contribute to a more sustainable future. Section 8. From greenhushing to greenbragging, finding the balance. While transparency is essential, it's also important to strike a balance. Constantly boasting about every minor sustainability initiative can come across as insincere or even backfire as greenwashing. The key is to be authentic and focus on communicating meaningful progress. Instead of highlighting every energy-efficient light bulb, companies should focus on sharing substantial achievements and milestones. Furthermore, companies should avoid using sustainability as a marketing ploy to boost sales. Consumers are quick to spot disingenuous attempts to capitalize on environmental concerns. Sustainability should be integrated into the core values of the business, not treated as a marketing afterthought. Section 9. The future of sustainability. Openness is key. In a world grappling with the urgent threat of climate change, greenhushing is not an option. The consequences of staying silent are too dire to ignore. Silence only benefits those who prioritize short-term profits over the long-term well-being of the planet and its people. It allows harmful practices to continue unchecked, putting our future at risk. The future of sustainability hinges on open and honest communication. Without it, we cannot hope to address the complex challenges we face. Companies must embrace transparency, not fear it. Transparency builds trust and accountability, essential elements for meaningful progress. By sharing their successes, challenges, and lessons learned, They can inspire collective action and accelerate the transition to a more just and sustainable future. This collective wisdom is invaluable. The time for silence is over. We must speak out and demand change. The world needs to hear companies' sustainability stories, the good, the bad, and the hopeful. These stories can serve as powerful catalysts for change. Only through radical transparency can we hope to build a future where both people and the planet can thrive. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that openness becomes the norm, not the exception.